Broadcasting from Slough. Streaming around the world.
This is Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio. Oh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
The podcast.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Hello, welcome to episode 118 of the best bits of Atom Radio's breakfast show. As always, I do hope I find you very well, especially as this pandemic just rolls on and on and on. Approaching, well, it is actually today the 10-month anniversary of the initiation of the first lockdown in the UK. Today, as in Saturday, the 23rd of January, when this podcast launches, 10 months we've now been living under restrictions. But anyway, let's move on to something a little happier, the best bits of the show this week, and they include Darren's story, an update, a Jeremy Clarkson rant, things you do on your last day at work, helpful property advice, things that would stop your holiday if you knew they were going to be confiscated when you arrived. And if you could be famous for any reason, what would you want that reason to be? Here comes the best bits of this week's breakfast show. All you have to do is enjoy. AtomRadio.co.uk. We have news. You remember Darren from Thursday? Darren was the guy who emailed in, liked a lady at work, didn't have her number. Only way to contact her was through the work email or the work Slack. And we asked you what Darren should do. And funny enough, I spoke to my friend Richard Brown Biscons, who will be listening now on his way to work. He said, yeah, go for it. That was after the show. And I spoke to my friend Kate as well. And I said, if you were a lady, which she is, and somebody was to send you an email saying, I quite like you, do you fancy going for a walk? What would you say? She said, well, I'd be flattered. And I'd take it in the right way, even if the answer was a no. Anyway, I did hear from Darren about 5 to 10 on Friday. Darren emailed me and I didn't open it until after the show. And I wanted to save it until the show today to tell you the news is that Darren has not emailed her yet as of Friday, as he emailed me, but he was planning on emailing her that day. He was just thinking of what to actually write to keep it polite and friendly and everything. So Darren, I hope it has gone well for you, and maybe even you had an all right weekend having a socially distant walk with the lady from work that you like. Now I want to talk about something that happened to me on Friday. I was, as you know, going to the dentist on Friday, and I was stopped at Sippenham Lane by the Mercedes garage at the traffic lights, which had literally just turned red. A lady knocks on my car window, passenger side window. I assume she wants directions to somewhere. So I put down the window and I say hello. And she says to me, where are you going? So my first thought is, well, that's a bit cheeky. I don't even know this lady. And she's going to ask me for a lift. In the middle of a pandemic, she's going to ask me for a lift. Anyway, she didn't. Before I'd even got to answer, she then tears into me. It's essential journeys only. Where are you going? Why are you out? What are you doing? And I thought, hang on a minute. Hang on. And I said to her, who are you? She's like, it's essential journeys only. And she just came back with that. So I said to her, unless you are the chief constable, the new chief constable, I don't really have to explain to you what I'm doing. And she's banging on and on and on, essential journeys only. And I thought, nah, this is just too much. So I just put the window up. I couldn't drive off because the light was still red. But I just put the window up and she did knock on the window. And I just thought, nah, just ignore her. So my question to you today is, what situation have you been in where somebody has poked their nose into something which has absolutely nothing to do with them? Like this lady, I don't know who she was, I don't know what she was doing, I don't know where she was going, and I don't really know what business of hers it was, what I was doing. What I can say, though, is I was going to the dentist, which is perfectly allowed under the rules and regulations. It's medical. Therefore, I was doing a journey which is allowed. I went straight there. I had my treatment. I came straight back. I did not break the rules, even though I didn't have to explain it to her. So what situation have you ever been in where somebody has stuck their nose into something that has absolutely nothing to do with them, and how did you handle it?
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
this email comes in. It says, please, Mark, do not use my name on this. This goes back a couple of years ago now, and it does have an all right ending. Me and my boyfriend were going through a bit of a rough spell, and I happened to confide in a female friend of mine what was happening, and she was all sympathetic. And then a couple of days later, when me and my boyfriend sat down to have a chat, he told me that she had messaged him, not in any way supporting me, but telling him that he deserved better and that they should go out. And I thought, that's so out of order, and I've not spoken to her to this day since. I don't blame you. Like, where's the code? I'm not going to say it, but, you know, mates before dates, and there is another one, isn't there, that starts with chicks. I'm not going to mention that in any way whatsoever, because it would be very wrong of me. But where's the code? I mean, there is, isn't there? There's the chicks before, and there's the bros before, which I'm not going to mention as well. But yeah, that's bang out of order. Like, you know, if you're telling your friend about a delicate situation like that, what right have they got to be butting in?
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Ask Graham Bell later on Drive Time. In his opinion, the most overplayed sports anthem ever, Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline.
Mark Denholm.
Jeremy Clarkson said today to be fed up with people whinging over the quality of free school meals. I am a big fan of Jeremy Clarkson. He's whinging about people whinging over the quality of free school meals. Jezza, why was it that you got sacked from Top Gear?
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Morning, 7:21. Mark Denholm at breakfast on Atom Radio, playing the music you want to hear loud and proud with the soundtrack for Slough. We're asking you this morning, if it was, as it is indeed for Donald Trump, your last day at work today, what would you do that you can't get away with on any other day? Probably the consequences of what you do are far less than the consequences of the potential Donald Trump has at his disposal. Lucy, however, says, doesn't it depend on whether you need a reference or not, though? There's so many things I'd love to do, but I'm well aware that I probably would need a reference for my new job. Lucy, why did you have to be so practical about this?
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Chris says if it was my last day at work, I would go in and I would password protect all of the spreadsheets that I have created on my last day as the last thing that I did before I then left work. That would be quite funny, wouldn't it? Genuinely, I would find that quite funny if it was me, although not, I suppose, if I was the boss and nobody could get into them. Although, hang on, I'm going to give you a bit of helpful advice there. If you are going to do it in advance, because otherwise there'll probably be a backup of the spreadsheet which isn't password protected.
Mark Denholm.
Morning. Welcome to Hump Day, Lockdown 3, Day 16 today. Same excrement, different day in the nicest possible way.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
If you're in the market for a property, a corner shop that's been left untouched for 20 years is now on the market for just £26,000. This corner shop is in Swansea. I'm not even going to attempt the name of the little district of Swansea, but it's up for sale for £26,000, closed up, left in a state of disrepair, boarded up shop front, dust and debris littering the interiors, but yours for just £26,000. I wonder though, when you serve a customer, like if you buy it, do it up, turn it back into a shop, and you serve a customer as they're leaving, it is essential that you say to them, "There's lovely."
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
This is Mark Denholm, loud and proud at breakfast. The soundtrack for Slough on Atom Radio, on atomradio.co.uk. Tune in iTunes Radio and your smart speaker, playing the music you want to hear. And Wednesday today, Hump Day, we're asking you, for your Wednesday in one word, describe your expectation of the day ahead using just one word. On air at atomradio.co.uk. Sarah says, wonderful Wednesday. I am meeting up with a friend in a park who I've not seen for ages, and we're going to go for a socially distant walk. So therefore, I would call it a wonderful Wednesday. Slightly different to Mick, who says, rubbish. That's the only word I can think of, rubbish. Also, you've got Steph. Steph says, nah, I don't like that word, MEH. I think that's how you say it. Nah, I don't really like that word, if I'm honest. It's not really a word, is it? Like, you know, if I'm just picking you up, I don't think you'll find it's in the dictionary. Hang on, let me have a quick look. Nah, that's what I've just typed. Nah. Wait a minute, it does come up on dictionary.com and it says, expressing a lack of interest or enthusiasm. There you are. That's my description of the word, nah, expressing a lack of interest or enthusiasm in the word nah. Back on topic, your Wednesday in one word on air at atomradio.co.uk.
Mark Denholm.
If you were going on holiday and something was going to be confiscated when you got there, what would it be to make you say no? Paul says, imagine going to a place where you can't get Netflix. I'm imagining it already, Paul. I don't have Netflix. Never have had Netflix. I don't have anyone to chill with. In fact, I think the last time I rented a movie, I had to rewind it and take it back to Blockbuster.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Alcohol, says Dave. If I couldn't take alcohol, I'm not going. Dave, where are you going? On holiday or like to a nightclub or something where you sneak in? Normally the ladies that do that, isn't it? Sneak in a little bottle of vodka or something in their handbag somewhere, hoping it doesn't get found out. That's what normally happens. I know these things. I've seen it happen so many times.
Mark Denholm.
Atom Radio, loud and proud with the music you want to hear. This is Mark Denholm at breakfast on a Friday, heading into the weekend. Make of it what you will, be given you have the choice of going for local exercise, essential shopping, or basically staying at home. That is Bob Marley, Could You Be Loved? Not likely, given yesterday we had to agree that we would write off National Hugging Day for this year. Highly unlikely you could therefore be loved.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Morning, Mark Denholm at breakfast on Atom Radio. It's 10 to 7. If you've ever got a drink from McDonald's, and I must admit, until I read this, I didn't even notice it. I noticed all the buttons on the lids of the drinks cups. Apparently, they actually mean something, though. If you get a drink at McDonald's, it's to tell whether you've got Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, or Coke Zero, and the staff are supposed to push in a button to tell you which drink that you've got. This came to light on Reddit when a customer in the UK asked if anyone from McDonald's was on Reddit and could explain exactly what was going on. Never knew that.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
We're asking you this morning if you could be famous for any one thing, what would that one thing be? On air at atomradio.co.uk is my email address. If you would like to have a say, then you can drop me an email on air at atomradio.co.uk. The one thing, if you could be famous for anything that you would be famous for, what would it be? Me, I'd love to be actually famous for doing this, but then I'd have to rise above kind of average, wouldn't I? Otherwise, I'm never, ever going to be famous. Oh, there he is. There's the average breakfast show guy. That may not work.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Suzanne, by the way, congratulations, Suzanne. I think your phone must have autocorrect because sometimes you spell my name with a C, which is an moment, and other times you spell it with a K, which is a ding moment. Today is a K day. Suzanne says, famous in this day and age is nothing. You can be famous while being a nobody and doing nothing except for posing on Instagram. That's very, very true, Suzanne, sadly. You won't find me disagreeing with you on that. It is the way it is, isn't it, in this day and age? Influencers, they're called. And it really, really, really irks me, if I'm honest. Like, in the old days, you had to be famous for doing something, like being an actor, being a sportsman, being a famous professor or something. Whereas in this day and age, you can just be a bit of a tart that's happy to show virtually everything on Instagram, and all of a sudden you're a famous influencer.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Liz says, I would love to invent something. If I could be famous, it would be for inventing something. Liz, while you're there, you're just the person I need. If you're called Elizabeth, how do you decide between being Liz, Lizzie, or Beth? And the same, like if you're a guy as well. If you're called Daniel, how do you decide between being Daniel, Dan, or Danny? How do you decide these things? If you're a bloke, let's say, and you're called Richard, how do you decide between Richard, Rick, Rich, Ricky, Richie, Dick, or Dickie? How do you decide any of that? I'm so glad I have a name that cannot be shortened. atomradio.co.uk. You know, having said that about my name, sometimes, as we found out, it does get misspelt with a C instead of a K, and other times people lengthen it to Marky or Marky Mark. So, yeah, even if you have a name which cannot be shortened, sometimes it can be lengthened. I'm still a little irked by influencers as well. In case you didn't get it from the show, or indeed from that bit of the podcast, I do find it really, really annoying. Even the term influencer. I am a fully grown adult. I have the power of thought. I don't need to be influenced by somebody who is equally as much a nobody as I am. That's something I genuinely don't get. Thank you for your company on the podcast as always today. I hope you've enjoyed it. There will be another one next Saturday.
Atom Radio. Playing the music you want to hear.
Join me live on Monday morning, Monday to Friday, in fact, 6 until 10 for The Breakfast Show on Atom Radio. Keep well, keep safe, and please subscribe.
atomradio.co.uk.
Atom Radio.